Clobberin time!
Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Roger. Ready to move out.
Welcome, my friends. And I think we should start out with a bit of a moment of silence for a few dead air silence moments or seconds for our topic tonight, the great and the late great Kevin Conroy. Oh man. Thank you all for being here tonight, everybody. It's good to see you. We're going to be talking a little bit about someone who brought us a whole lot of joy. We'll do our show notes and all of this stuff before we get on to that, but I just wanted to, start out by saying this is a sad time for geeks everywhere, for Batman fans everywhere. Before we go back to that, though, we'll have some show notes and some hellos, and I would like to thank my very special guest for being here with me tonight, the great Stone Loki. Thanks for being here, buddy.
Thank you for the invite, brother. Thank you. We both love this guy, so thank you so very much for having me on.
Yes, indeed, we do. And well, a couple show notes, everybody. Just want to get what's going on right now. Of course, tomorrow night. Please join me for a special at 8 p.m. Central, a Clobberin time special, celebrating. Because we're gonna go. I know this is a sad story, but we got to do our show notes. Things go on, and this is not a sad story. This is a great one. My wonderful first officer, the beautiful, magnificent Commander RM Raquel Briggs. Her book is coming out tomorrow. Tomorrow it is going on sale on Amazon. Her collection of short science fiction short stories. I'm very excited about that and so proud of her and just so happy she's been a wonderful friend of mine. And as you all know, she hangs out with me not only on Saturday Night Star Trek, but the Clubhouse. And we've been very, very dear friends for now just a couple of years. And it seems like we've known each other for forever. We've become very close. We hang out all the time for hours on end, after shows and stuff like that. And I consider one of my dearest friends. And I love you to death, Raquel. I know you're here. And I'm very proud of you. And tomorrow night, we'll have a celebratory stream. It will be at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time to just set that book on its way and get it promoted. And of course, we'll do some other things for promoting it as well. So everyone, big congratulations from Clobberin Times, from your captain, Raquel. Congratulations to you for having this book come out. I'm proud of you, and I cannot wait to hang out with you and talk about it tomorrow. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Wednesday night, gonna talk all things Submariner, mainly his battles. This 83-year-old character, the very first Marvel anti-hero, has been disrespected in a horrible way by Hollywood, and we're just going to talk about the real deal character tomorrow night in my own Clobberin Times kind of way, if you know what I'm saying. So, and of course we have the Clubhouse Thursday night and another Saturday night Star Trek next Saturday. So those are our show notes, really quickly. Wanted to get those out of there. It's a somber night, but you got to take care of business and all those things too. And we'll get to our tribute. But I wanted to say that. Love you, RM. And I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. I want to thank the great Lord Thoth. Avon lives and long live the Legion, buddy. Good to see you. J-Man Buddy. Had a great time hanging out with J-Man and Sean over there this past Saturday night, reviewing Black Panther, Wakanda for Never, that abomination. Eric K, what is up, my friend? The bronze wrencher is here. The wrencher of bronze. Good to see you there, my brother. Who else is here with us this evening? Whether he's here or not, he does so much for us. I always shout out my wrenches. The great Vindicator Wrench of the North, Chris Persia. Bro, thanks for all you do. Appreciate your promotion and artwork that you do for us over on the Twitch. And always great to have you here, my friend. I can't even see the chat, so I don't even know who's here yet, folks. But I got the chat wound back. But whether he's here or not, he and our other wrenches get mentioned, of course, just like the great D. Bud Martin, the wrench of iron. Here or not, we wrench them out. We shout them out because these guys do so much for us. So, and let's see who else is here with us tonight. Oh man, my chat keeps jumping on me. I don't know what it is. I have to run it all the way back to see who's here because it's we got a lively chat there tonight. That's fantastic. Let's see, Scogly, Joe Toon. I hope I'm saying that right. I always stumble on that, and I apologize, Scogly, but he tells me I'm doing it okay. So, Scogly, welcome. Good to see you there. And Eric is here. Good. Eric is here, and so is Chris. See, the thing just keeps jumping on me. What is wrong with my StreamYard's chat tonight? Dang it. Does it ever do that to you, Loki? Jeez.
Sometimes. Sometimes it does.
Oh, wow. Okay, here we go. Well, I think I'm set now. Phantom Outsider. We'll do this really quickly. Phantom Outsider, good to see you there, buddy. Our wonderful first officer, Raquel, is here. Hey there.
Hey, Raquel. Congratulations on your book.
Yes, so absolutely. I'm so proud of you. Let's see here. Where are we at? Yep, all the wrenches are here tonight. Cool. Oh my goodness, Ptolemy's minion and Pupper. I'm jealous of you because you met the Pupper.
The Pupper is so sweet, dude. The Pupper loves giving face kisses on your cheek. Pupper just loves kissing people on the cheek. Is so happy. And that was the second time I met Puppers. I met Puppers in Vegas too. Yeah, I met Puppers in Vegas. Did I ever tell you about that? I was standing in line. Yeah. I was standing in line and I was talking to Apollomy and I didn't know it was even Apollomy. And I was like, yeah, I'm Loki. And she goes, I know. I was like, oh, you listen. And she's like, yeah, I'm Apollommy's minion. And I was like, oh my God, Apollomy minion. I gave her a hug and I got to hang out with Puppers. And so this her coming to Dallas. This was the second time we've gotten to hang out. And I always love getting to hang out with the Puppers.
Well, we love the pupperoni here in Ptolemy. Hope you're being safe out there, my dear. As always, both hands on the wheel, young lady.
Yes.
Let's see here. Lemon pie. Hey there. Let's see. Man, it takes got a lot of it's an active chat. I love it. But it takes me a while to get to everybody's here. Brian Hepburn, good to see you there. Good to see you, my friend. Alex James, I have not seen you in a dog's age. 10 dogs ages, in fact. Cal L, what's up, bro? The real super. Good to see you, man. See who else? Oh my goodness, we got a super chat. You stop that. You stop that. You're not supposed to do that. Thank you, Raquel. Thank you, First Officer. You're wonderful commander. Says for $10 Canadian super chat, she just says we. I can't say it like she does. She's the only one that can say we here. She specializes it. Whoa, jumped on me again. There we go. Ironhide, what's up there? Ironhide 84. Good to see you. Donnie Pearson, hello there, my friend. Says Toxic Femininity Raid. I like Toxic Femininity, and those are some lovely ladies over there. Don't blame me for being there at all. If I'd known that was on, I'd have been over there too. Near Adanax, Amanda Bear, my friend. Hey, good to see you. Let's see. Yep. Sorry, I'm scrolling everybody. I want to get everybody. Michael Beacom, what's up, my friend? And shout out to the wonderful Cassandra. I hope you're both doing well tonight. Boosh McFadden, what's up, buddy? Good to see you there. Good to see you. And a big shout out to all who are lurking tonight, because I lurk sometimes myself when I'm not able to go into a chat, or sometimes you just don't feel like chatting, or sometimes you're riding around listening to it, or however that works. And anyone listening on a download or a rewatch, if whatever you want to call it, it is always much appreciated. And sometimes I forget to mention that when I shouldn't. Thank you. It's all of us who are here. I know Loki does the same way. We love it. Those of you who are able either to lurk, but not necessarily in the chat, or you listen later, we really appreciate that. All of us do.
Absolutely.
It's great because you don't have any idea. I've had people tell me before that they've listened, I've run into, but they said they've never said anything in the chat, but they've listened. I mean, I've had people that happened to me even in the old days of Blog Talk Radio, and they said I listen to you all the time here, and I'm like, wow, that's very nice. And they don't mess with the chat for whatever reason, which is cool. You don't have to. We appreciate our chatters, but lurkers are fine, or people who listen to it later. We're flattered. Claude Salling, hey there, good to see you. Let's see here. Pat S, what is up, buddy? Good to see you. Michelle O'Rourke Johansson, hello there, my dear. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Let's see. I'm almost caught up, folks. We'll get moving. Maddie's daddy, what's up, my old pal Steve Mitchum? Hope you and Maddie are doing well. Let's see. Come on, don't jump on me, stupid chat. Not you, stupid chat. I mean the stupid. No, you're not stupid. I'm stupid. I'm talking about the stupid StreamYards chat. It's really wonky. Okay, I think. Well, hey, Classic Comics, what's up, bud? Good to see you, man.
What's up, Classics?
Hey. Well, I think I got everybody. So let me make sure. Claude Parrish is here. Minimus is here. Almost there, folks. I promise. And hey, hungry for some Adamant Babes. That's an obscure reference to an old BBC show, Adam Adamant, the great hungry boy, who is, of course, the official artist of Clobberin Times, and, of course, more importantly, is the official artist for the cover of Raquel's book. And I've not seen it yet. I cannot wait for that big reveal to see the cover of Raquel's book, because he is an extraordinary artist, a former comic book artist, whose identity he hides, of course. I had a great friend of this show for a long time. Hungry Boy is amazing. And he did the art, and I cannot wait to see that art, man. Cannot wait. I hope we're getting to see that tomorrow. We better be getting to see that tomorrow. I'm going to be start some yelling. Hey, how do you say that? Severon? Was it Severon 13? Is that how you say it? I don't know if you see that one there. Hello there, Severon. That's in the chat there at 9:15. There, number 9:15. Midnight's Edge After Dark. What's up? Hey, Tom. What's up, brother? Good to see you there, man. The great Tom with Midnight's Edge After Dark. Everyone here, of course, is already subscribed to him. But if they're not, please do. Of course, please, anyone can put the link to the Great Midnight's Edge channels, both of them, and especially, and of course, not especially, at least, or list, but maybe just not least. Said that inaccurately, of course. Mead Radio. I love Mead Radio, man. It's amazing.
Absolutely.
Good to see you. Always honored to have Tom pop in. The great Mark D with the C, our chief engineer. What's up, bro? My buddy Flash was going to join us tonight, but he could not make it. Oh, I miss hanging with Flash. He was my old partner in crime with the old BTR, and he doesn't get to pop in that often. But I hope he'll come back one of these nights and hang out. He got the message from, and now that I think that handles everybody for now. He got the message about Kevin Conroy from a gentleman who guested on my show once, Lauren Lester, who was the voice actor of Robin. He was, like many of us, just devastated. Yeah. So tonight here, folks, we're here, of course, to discuss and pay tribute to this gentleman, the passing of look, you're hard pressed to find anybody more liked than this guy in terms of, for example, we all love William Shatner. We're all a big bunch of Trek fans, but people make fun of him. Now, I love him, but you can still make fun of him, by the way. But he does have his detractors. People like to say stupid things about him all the time that I don't agree with, whatever. So Shatner's, he has his critics. Let's put it like this, even though we love him. I love Adam West as Batman. He was my introduction to Batman, for example. You still have people who make fun of him or whatever, even though they're wrong for it, in my opinion, But there's for some reason, certain guys that transcend. I mean, you'll never hear anyone. I've never heard anyone who is a fan of Batman and knows who Kevin Conroy is. And I know not as many people who know who he is as they know who Shatner is or Adam West. I'm not saying that, but you will never hear a bad word about Kevin Conroy, just in terms of his talent. No. This man, all you ever hear about him is, oh my God, he is the voice of the Bat. I mean, every time you mention him, they go, oh my God, everyone will start. And yes, a few years earlier, Michael Keaton, who played him in 1989, did lower his voice a little bit and say, I'm Batman. And we used to joke and say that. It became like a joke, not in a bad way. We go, I'm Batman. And we thought we were copying Michael Keaton. And along comes this guy, and now I am Batman. I am vengeance. I am the night.
I am vengeance. I am the night. Yes. I am Batman. Yeah.
Dave, hey there. Good to see you. Would you think Batman talking now, as many have said, and you hear this over and over again, I'm not just talking about recently in chats, speaking about the man posthumously, but for years and years and years, people would say, if I'm reading a Batman comic, I'm hearing Kevin Conroy's Batman voice in my head. You hear it time and time again. And I would be hard pressed to think of a voice actor that has achieved that level of preeminence. Maybe the closest would be Mel Blanc, as far as a voice actor that has left that kind of impression just being a voice actor. Now, we know Kevin Conroy had acted in a few things, live, in TV. I don't know about films. Decepticon, good to see you, buddy. We know Kevin Conroy had been in some TV and film, but still,
he was more of a stage actor, and that's one of the things he talked about here and there was his love for stage. He loved being on stage. He loved stage acting. He liked it more than anything else he did. I never heard him say ever in an interview or anything that he liked it more than voice acting, but that was what he was known for. He was a stage actor.
Right. Absolutely. He was a stage actor, but I think he'd been in a TV show here and there, of course, as well. I mean,
he was in a soap opera. He actually played a gay guy in a soap opera.
Okay.
I had no idea about that until, he passed away, and I started, God, what all did he do? I mean, we know
he was in a soap opera. That's right.
We know him as this iconic voice actor, but what all did he do? Finding out that he went to, when he was in acting school, he roomed with, at Juilliard. He roomed with what's his name? The guy who played Frasier and Robin Williams.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Kelsey Grammer.
Kelsey
he knew Robin
Grammer
Williams.
and Robin Williams.
Yes, he
That's
did.
nuts. That's absolutely nuts. These are things I had no idea. I had absolutely no idea that he knew Robin Williams and Kelsey Grammer and that he roomed with them at Juilliard, at acting. God, that's amazing. Why was he not in more movies? Oh, he preferred stage acting. It's
I guess.
Wow.
He roomed with Beast from X-Men. Yep, Kelsey Grammer. Yeah. and he was buddies with Mark. So with Mork from Mork. But and here's the thing: he takes this voice. I've always believed. Again, people have said we're not really sure on this because I've never really done the deep dive on it to make sure. But we all know that Batman the Animated Series, because Bruce Timm has said that his one of his biggest inspirations for that show was the Fleischer cartoon, Superman Fleischer cartoons of the early 1940s. Now, on that, and I find that interesting in a connection to Kevin Conroy in that on that show, the voice of Superman on the show was Clayton Bud Collier. His name was Bud Collier. Back then, radio actors were big. You had movie actors and you had radio actors. There was really almost no such thing as TV actors yet, really. So radio actors, were pretty big back then, obviously, because radio shows were more radio was TV. So, and Bud Collier always had this kind of knack of when he would say stuff. He had this line that he did very often in the cartoon where, Superman had his voice Clark Kent's voice was fairly higher, and he would say, "This looks like a job for," and then when he would turn and go, "Superman," and so he would actually transform his voice, lower it when he becomes Superman. I don't know if it's true. Some people said they don't think it's true, but Bruce Timm and those guys may have helped to coach Conway into doing something. Maybe because him changing his voice like that. I mean, before that we had Michael Keaton in 2 movies, and I don't really think there was that. He didn't really talk much when he was Batman in those movies. For one thing, he kind of was talked a little bit down a little, but they're almost. If you think about it, in those movies, he doesn't have too many lines as Batman. I mean, he does a little bit. Now, this show, because it's animated, he's almost, it's flip-flopped. It's like 80-some-odd% or more of Batman, the occasional Bruce Wayne appearance, right? And I'd have it no other way. So I have to wonder if that was brought in, if that was something that those guys, discussed with him. But either way, there's definitely a distinct difference between his Bruce Wayne voice and his Batman voice. And if you listen to his Batman voice in some of those earlier episodes, as opposed to a few episodes in, he did kind of seem like he was finding his footing with it and changing it up a little bit. And eventually it's perfect. Perfect. And others who voiced the character in other animated shows and stuff, or even in certain Nolan movies, have tried that trick and just don't really do it as well. I'll tell you, for example, I love Batman Brave and the Bold.
Oh yeah.
I love that cartoon. Well, that's Dietrich Bader. He never really has to be. He's never Bruce Wayne. He's always Batman on that show because so he don't have to do that. But he's great. I love his voice on that show, no question about it. But he never has to do the trick where he has to lower it or high, or whatever. So, but you can tell even then he's trying to get as close to he can as Kevin Conroy with doing that voice. Andrew 46-2. Hello there. Welcome, my friend.
What's up, Andrew?
So Kevin Conroy is he's the gold standard. Anyone who has done the voice on some of the other animated features where he was not doing Batman, because you can tell that they can't help it. They're trying to do it the way he does, and they always will.
Yeah. Well, look at any. Let me ask you. Give me the name of other Batman voice actors, just off the top of your head. Voice actors, okay. Olin Soule would be the one from the Filmation Batman cartoon of the '60s. He was a very well known. He's a very well known character actor in TV and stuff. And then after that, there was actually the New Adventures. Well, actually, Olin Soule did him on that and the Super Friends. And then for a while, and then on the New Adventures of Batman in the '70s, Adam West actually did his voice on that cartoon. Then later, Adam West actually did his voice on Super Friends for a while.
after that, it's Kevin Conroy, and he did it on the animated series. He did it on Batman Beyond, and then he did it on Justice League. And then, of course, we know he's did it on a few other things as well. Later, he did it in
multiple motion picture, multiple
DC animated films.
DC animated films, and yeah,
right. You have DC animated films. You have the Arkham game, of course.
But Clobby, you have to realize you're one of the only people that knows this stuff. Most people, when they think who voice of Batman, Kevin Conroy. Kevin. Maybe they know about Adam West. Everything else, they're going to be like, "Oh, let me look at my phone real quick."
They might know Bader if they recently watched Brave and the Bold, but when I'll be willing to bet you, this is no slight to Bader, that people probably thought because he got pretty close to Conroy, they probably just assumed it was him. If they just watched that close, if you were to watch, if you'd never seen Batman Brave and the Bold, right, and you were to watch a couple of them, I could see you going, "No, that's Conroy, isn't it?" No, it isn't really, because he does a pretty good, Conroy. So you might not even because Conroy is so ensconced, you might just hear if someone gets fairly close, you're just going to say, "Oh, well, I guess that was Conroy," even though it isn't.
Yeah.
Now, I tell you, the only two that really were so off that you could just tell it wasn't even trying to get close to him was Billy Baldwin. Ugh.
Yeah.
That was a good movie, but we will review that one soon. But good Lord, no. And then I love Justice League New Frontier, but that guy did not sound much like Conroy.
No. And I like what's his name from I like Jensen Ackles.
He does a good job.
Jensen
Yes.
And I like the work he did. Whether or not it's a good movie or not, I like the work he did in Long Halloween.
No, he did a good job.
Red Hood. He didn't play Batman in Red Hood. He played Jason Todd. Yeah. Right. But I really liked him as Red Hood, and I really liked him as Batman in Long Halloween. I hope they go more with him. I really do. You can't replace Kevin, but no. I hope that they get someone that that at least takes it as seriously and is as passionate about the project as he was.
Well, like I say, as you said there, they've been using other people for other projects. So not like he's been exclusively the one to do it. And there's the thing. You've had other things with other people doing Batman's voice and some other animated features and things that we were just mentioning. And yet, I don't care if it's 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now, everyone will think of Kevin Conroy than those other guys. They'll say, yeah, Kevin Conroy's voice of the Batman. And you'd say, well, who do you think did the voice in this one? You go, I don't know. If name one, and it goes, wasn't it Conroy? And they go, no, he didn't do it in that one. Then they go, well, I don't know who it was. They won't know his name. They won't know who and even if it was a good animated film. Hello there, Oliver Belamonte. I guarantee you, people won't know the voice. They'll just say that was a good Batman animated thing or whatever. They won't know the voice. Where on this thing, Batman the animated series and Kevin Conroy, that name stands out. How many other animated shows where the lead voice actor is just? I mean, when you cannot talk about that show without talking about that voice.
And did you hear that bit about what Mark Hamill said when they were trying to get him for Arkham Origins? Because they didn't have him or Kevin in Arkham Origins, and
that's right. Yeah,
they reached out. They reached out to him. They reached out to Mark and asked him if he wanted to be a part of it. And he said, well, is Kevin doing it? And they said, no. And he said, well, then I'm not doing it. You have to find someone else. And they made this big deal about replacing both of them with these two other voice actors. They made this really big deal. The search for the new Joker. Look it up. Batman Arkham Origins search for the new Joker. They made this really big deal about bringing him in and having him as the new Joker for the voice in the games. And then that game didn't do shit. People were not happy with it. People didn't like it. And they brought Kevin and Mark back for Gotham, not Gotham Knights, but whatever it was, Arkham Knight. So they brought them both back after Origins, and I have to think that after hearing that, Mark was like, "Listen, if you want me for the next game, you have to have Kevin. And that's just, I mean, that's brilliant. I won't do it if Kevin's not doing it. I'm not going to do it. That simple." And they got them both for the the next game. I'd say what you want about Mark and his politics or whatever. He knew they had this great thing. Him and Kevin had this great dynamic in the animated series, and it would go on in movies. It would go on in games. You can say whatever you want about him and his politics. He was a loyal friend to Kevin, and that's what's important.
Right. Like I said, when it comes to voices of animated voices, for example, like I said, someone mentioned Don Messick. You could also mention Frank Welker and guys like that. Fans of those shows or fans of animation know those voices. But when it comes to that, the mainstream people who don't really follow that much that stuff, they know two names. So I'm talking about in animation history that stand out as far as voice actors for animation. That's Mel Blanc, who, yes, he was on the Jack Benny show. People know who he is because Mel Blanc was that brilliant and that prolific. And so people who don't even really follow that animation stuff that much know, at least did. Maybe it's a little bit different now because it's been so many years, but people just knew, man, boy, Bugs Bunny and all these other voices, people knew who Mel Blanc was. And now for this generation, past couple of generations, hello there, J.D. Lewis. People who don't know much about, I guarantee you can't find another cartoon. Sure, fans of Scooby-Doo know about Frank Welker. Sure, some fans of animation know about Don Messick and many of these other fine voice actors. But people who just like Batman and they don't know all this other stuff about animation, I guarantee you there's no more well-known and loved voice actor of animation than Kevin Conroy, and it's not even close.
Yeah.
It's not even close. You could, again, like I said, yes, geeks and fans know a lot of these names, but there are so many people, because you hear all of these stories where people will say, "Oh my God, I used to watch Batman, that guy, Kevin Conroy, this and Kevin Conroy." When they hear that voice, like he's met people, and when he would talk, and they would like that story that people that always goes around, and this goes around more than a couple different places and similar stories where he was out at some he was working some kind of charity function for the first responders. I think it was in New York. And I've heard this story recently, someone talking about him, how he was just, some guy started talking to him. Peter Cullen's another name that fans and geeks know, but I'm talking about ordinary people who just watched a cartoon. And he said this one guy, I guess it was a fireman or a cop, I don't know what it was, but when he heard him talking, he says, "You sound familiar," or something like that. "Do I know you?" And of course, when they got to talking, he goes, I think Kevin, if I'm getting the story wrong, forgive me, everybody, because I just heard it a while back. He said something, told him who he was, I think. And he goes, "Oh my God, you're Batman." And he was telling everybody, everybody, look, it's Batman. And he got, and they said, "No, what do you mean?" And when he got Kevin started speaking some lines in his Batman voice, and everybody went nuts. They're like, "Oh my God." He said, "I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman." And everybody went nuts. These are people, they weren't comic geeks or whatever kind of geeks. They just watched cartoons as a kid, and they heard that voice, and they go, "Oh my God, it's Batman." He left the mark on that no one else has come close. Not since Mel Blanc that he is someone who's a well-known voice actor. I know he did other stuff. It's Conroy's right up there with him. Yeah, Dawes Butler. Like I said, I have every respect for all these great animated, animation voice actors. None come close to Alan Oppenheimer. I have respect for him. Another great voice. All these people. I'm not slighting anyone here. I'm saying none of them were known to the level of Kevin Conroy, because geeks know all this stuff. How many non-geeks can tell you can talk about the voices of their favorite cartoons and know who did it, even if they hear the voice?
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. We were talking about the work he did with Tim Daly, and the work he did with Superman, and the work
Right.
there's so many times that these people came together and they made something magical, and Kevin was a huge part of that. And there was always that respect from fans that saw it, that wanted him in it. We watched movies that didn't always have him in it, but we always wanted to hear him. We always wanted him there. We always wanted him to be a part of it.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. I remember when I first started watching Batman Brave and the Bold, again, a cartoon I love dearly. I was kind of like, oh man, it's not Kevin Conroy doing the voice. Aw. And when I heard it was Dietrich Bader, I'm like, that dude? What? And I still can't match up the face of Dietrich Bader and the way he talks and other stuff and the way he does that voice. So he's really good. But I'm like, because it still doesn't sound like him at all, but it is him. And I'm going, he's definitely influenced by Kevin Conroy. I think he's probably even said it, usually anyone doing that voice now, I'm sure they're intimidated as well, but they've got to be influenced by him.
Yeah, no, they have to. It's just like the Joker voice. People they try and do Mark Hamill doing the Joker instead of doing a Joker.
Right.
And every once in a while, you will get like in Return of the Dark Knight, the Frank Miller and the Frank Miller DC cartoon.
Yeah, that was Peter Weller did that. I think
it was Peter Weller who did Batman.
And I love Peter Weller, but I mean, he's not Conroy.
No, and there was another gentleman that did the Joker, and he wasn't bad, but you miss that immediately. You miss that Mark Hamill Joker, and you miss that Kevin Conroy. And I can see it. I can see it for a change for an older, but we had an older Batman that was Kevin Conroy. We had Batman and Batman Beyond. And when I heard that, I want to tell you something. I did not want to see this new Batman show. I was like, nope, I like my Batman animated series. I love it. I don't want some new stupid Batman in the future crap. I'm tired of this in the future crap. We're going to replace our heroes. But then, he's like, boy, come. And he starts going down in the Batcave and you're like, wait. Because he's talking to his dog, so he's like, come on, boy. And you're like, wait, is that? And then you hear him. You hear him, and you're like, holy shit. It's Kevin Conroy. Kevin Conroy is old Batman. And you're like, oh my God, yes. And that respect for the Batman animated series is what allowed me to love Batman Beyond. It really is. It's what allowed me to love it, and what distinguished it from other shows was having Kevin in it and having these characters and having this continued story. It wasn't just, oh, well, we're going to do a new Batman movie or do a Batman show in the future. It was all connected to the series that happened before it. And that's back when they cared, and back when they were like, you know what, we're going to do this thing. I don't know about you, Clobby, but I cried when they had that. I think it was the episode Disappearing Ink, or it was one of the Ink episodes where she is holding McGinnis hostage, and Bruce shows up in this trench coat and this hat, and she goes to like kick the shit out of him, and he stops her, and suddenly this mech suit forms around Bruce, and the music happens, and it dun 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 dun. Dude, I lost my shit. I was like, that's my Batman. That is my Batman. And Kevin did that, man. Kevin made him our Batman. Kevin gave all of us a Batman after 89 that was supposed to be a connection between the old Superman cartoon and the Batman we got in 89, but he's his own entity. completely separate. You might have the music, the soundtrack, part of the soundtrack from Danny Elfman, but it's him, man. It is totally Kevin and Mark and the music they did. We're not. I don't think we're gonna get anything
Never.
like this again.
And we just dodged a big bullet because Jar Jar Abrams and Bruce Timm were about to try to bring it back, and they were going to modern day it, and it was going to be a disgrace. And I'm hoping that's. I think that the kibosh has been put on that. I really hope so. I really hope so. Let's not have that because it'll be horrible and disgraceful. But yes, he's. Like I said, and you know, I hear what you're saying about June Foray there, Phantom Outsider. And like I said, my point was not to belittle any of those other people, but as far as a household name, you know, back then people knew who a lot of someone like she was because she was in other stuff too. But but Mel Blanc was like the biggest voice actor of all, you know, cartoon voice actor of all time, and you know now he's still like one of the greatest, probably one of the greatest of all time. And now Kevin Conroy's right up there with him and like I said, how many other, we know that a lot of really good actors have done a lot of voice acting. How many are known for a character as a voice actor and nothing else? Just even though, for example, someone who watched that soap opera might remember him. If you tell everybody, hey, Kevin Conroy was on this show or that show, you go, okay. But when you say Kevin Conroy, you're going to say Batman Forever. I mean, I don't mean Batman Forever the movie either. As long as forever now. And again, the thing is, he was really great about that because I was fortunate enough to meet him once, and Kevin Conroy was as nice as can be. And he was, and I said this the other night, he was as exactly what we want from the people that we're fans of. He is, I mean, if there was a clinic that you could show the celebrities how to treat your fans. If you got fans of a big geek property, in this case, Batman, how to treat your fans, how you should treat your fans if you have any respect and decency. He epitomized it. He was, I mean, because you know how many times a guy has to get people walking, running up to him going, I'm Batman, all this kind of stuff. And he puts up with it and smiles and shakes hands and he treats people like, well, you know, you know better than I do because you had that thing that he recorded, that you had recorded for him. For Mexican Iron Man, our good buddy Mike,
yeah,
and obviously I know I know it costs and stuff, but he poured a lot of he pours everything into that. And when you meet him, I'm telling you, the guy you saw in that video, that's the guy you meet at a con when you meet him.
And that didn't go to his pockets. That didn't go.
Thing, right?
Yeah, it was a charity. It was a charity thing. So
right.
I mean, he didn't have to do all that and say all that. He just could have said, "Happy birthday, Mike! I'm Batman. You know, vengeance. Yes. I am the night. Have a great birthday on Loki." Blah blah, and been done. No, he talked. He didn't have to do that. He talked to us about him, about Mike, about. He talked to me longer than he made the video, asking me questions about Mike and what Mike's like, and what I think of him. I was blown away. This is for charity. It's a charity donation. So,
and again, but that guy you now that you're telling me that you got to talk to that guy and that guy that you saw in that video, that's the guy you met when you met him at a con. Yeah. Nice as can be, and again. Like all these big names, he gets approached a lot. He gets person after person after person. If you can imagine how many times he's run into somebody and just, you know, did normal speak and they heard his voice and go, oh my God, you're Batman. And he's always cool about it. I mean, he's always not, I mean, I don't know about always. I mean, maybe it's a human being. Maybe it's irritated him sometimes. He's human, but all the stories you hear is that how he treats people. And, that resonates even more because if he were a total jerk, we'd still go, wow, man, he's great as the Batman. And we'd all be going, but what a jerk. You know, people can still be good at something that we like. And if we hear that they're a jerk to us personally, it's going to taint them a little bit. You might still like their show or whatever, but you're going to go, he's really great in that and this and the other thing, but what a jerkweed. And if you don't, or the worst you might get, if that doesn't happen, you meet him, you might hear someone else say that he's a jerk, Or you might go, I never met him, but I like his voice, so that's fine. But now you hear all these stories about what a great guy he was and how good he was to people, how good he was to fans. That does do something to his passing even more, because he was only 66 years old. Apparently, it was a short battle with cancer, things I'm hearing anyway.
Within a year. It was within the last year, which means he knew that he had that when he made that message for Mike. That's one of the things me and Mike were going over was if he's known since the beginning of the year, then he knew when he made that for Mike, because he made that for Mike in March, I believe. So he knew. Okay. He knew when he made that he had cancer, and he was still doing all that stuff. He was still doing that stuff. He was still acting. He was still doing videos. He was still raising for charity. He didn't just give up and draw the curtains and go into the Batcave. He fought. He fought, and he kept it. He kept it very, very close to the family. Only the family knew. And to me, that's just. I mean, that's an inspiration. You want to know. You want to know what. That's inspiring. That is so inspiring. Just like Chad McBoseman, you mentioned that earlier. I don't remember if we were on there or not, but it's the same. It's the same thing. No one knew, and
Chadwick knew a lot longer than he did. But
Chadwick knew a lot longer than he did what he was fighting. So
it's horrific, and it's just horrible because this was not expected. Just last week we lost 2 comic book artists, and what a rough week it had already been, and then this was one that similar to Chadwick Boseman from a couple of years back, was a shocker because he is known and beloved to so many people, and it was unexpected. I mean, one thing if they just put that out there that he's having trouble, like for example George Perez, the late great George Perez, who passed earlier this year. He announced it a few months ahead of time. It doesn't help much, but I mean, you at least when it happens, you're somewhat prepared as someone who doesn't know him personally. It's very different for the family. Then the following week, Neil Adams goes, and none of us expected that. I mean, we knew he was kind of having some issues, but boom, like that. But this is one that came way, way, way out of left field, very similar to Boseman. Let's see. Michael Bickham says, has anyone ever said a bad word about Kevin? I am not a huge social media, but I've never heard anyone say a bad thing about him. No, I've never heard anyone. Like I say, hey, Zach Garot, good to see you there. Never. I mean, he's posted some political views I don't agree with and stuff like that, but not in a horrible way like Mark Hamill. But he said some stuff. I'm like, oh man. But you know what? So what? But as far as ever hearing anyone saying that they had a bad run-in with him or anything like that, no. All you ever hear is positive, really positive stories about how nice he was, how cool, how well he treated fans so well. And there are very few people I can think of that I've heard that about, where I've, that didn't have at least something going on as far as mistreating fans. And, he's so he is to be commended for that. And we'll always miss him. And he was so great on Batman Beyond. You talked about that earlier. When they announced the show, I was not thrilled. I didn't care. And you know what? I didn't really watch it when it came on the air. I was like, I'll watch Batman. I know it was cool that, they had old Bruce Wayne on it, but I just didn't like the concept, to be honest. And eventually I went back and watched it a number of years later, and it's good. I like it. But but for me, I got to be honest with you. The best thing about the show to me is old Bruce and Conroy doing his voice.
Yeah. And him and the dog. Come on, boy. And you're like, damn, yes. When he's like, when he has the dog with him, and the dog's like his almost like protector at home, and you're like, dang, man, I love this stuff with old Bruce Wayne. Terry's like, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna be this and blah 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 blah. He's kind of like what would happen if oh my God, not Tim Drake, but Dick Grayson took over as Batman.
Took over, yeah.
And Bruce was injured and kind of hobbling around the Batcave. This is what it'd be like. But Terry's okay. He's okay. He's just not. He's not Bruce. So that's why you have Bruce there, and that's what brings in all of us. Is how much respect and love they showed to that character, and even brought back Kevin Conroy. I mean, I'm getting excited just talking about it. I want to go and watch Batman Beyond to see old Bruce and the dog. And come on, boy, he's gonna go with me. Terry, don't stay out all night and don't mess up the new bat suit. You're like, yes. You tell him, old Bruce.
Yes, indeed. And yeah, look, hey, Kal-El, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, he said some things that I vehemently disagree with on social media a couple of times, but I don't think he ever did anything like Mark Hamill, who just started trashing everybody. And again, and look, not to my knowledge, maybe he felt that way. I don't know, but I saw a couple of things he said that made me go, "Oh, not another one, not another celebrity." But then, it kind of, and I was like, I don't want to dislike this guy, so I'm not going to look at his page anymore because I don't want to have him ruined for me like so many other ones. Like Mark Hamill's ruined for me, and but yeah, I think you're right, Kal-El. I don't think he ever did anything to that level. Hey,
hearing that story recently about the whole Mark Hamill thing and him going, well, if Kevin's not going to do it, I'm not going to do it. I don't know. I hate Mark Hamill's politics, but when you hear something like that, like, well, if Kevin Conroy is not involved in it, I don't want to be involved in it. Dude, that's a paycheck. You know how many people said he took this big paycheck to sell out Luke Skywalker and all this stuff? That's a paycheck. If he was really that big of a sellout that just would sell out and sell himself all over, he'd just take the money. He wouldn't be like, well, if Kevin's not involved in it, I don't want to be involved in it.
Yeah, but Kevin, like I said, Mark Hamill's crossed the line to some terrible things.
Oh, he's a
jag off. It's one thing to have opinions, throw opinions out there that we don't like. I don't care about that at all. I'm talking about crossing the line big time as Hamill has, but that's but to hell with him. Tiger Stripes, though, good to see you there. But Kevin,
I still admire his loyalty to his friends.
I mean, I was happy with him when he stood up, when he kind of spoke out a little bit against the Last Jedi too. So, and he even did a great voice on this. I'm the only one that likes this show, I think. But Justice League Action, did you ever watch that?
I watched the one that had him and Tim Daly in it.
They're both on this, yeah.
So
the only thing wrong with this cartoon is the costumes were still wrong.
The Justice League one that happened after Superman and the Unlimited. Those are the two I watched. So Justice League and Justice League Unlimited.
But this came out around 2016 or so. It was a show called...
I didn't see that.
They did 52 episodes. What is it? DC in that number?
If it's 52? Got Tim Daly and Kevin in it, I'll watch it.
Here's the thing about this show. Because of crap going on with movies at the time, it was just these little shorts. They did like these little 3-minute shorts. Then they did these 10-minute shorts. Now they all add up to about 52 episodes. And the big three, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, and by the way, it's Tim Daly and Kevin Conroy. They all have that looks good from that right there, but below it they have the stupid no trunks thing. So in other words, they all have the wrong costumes. Everyone else, all the other heroes, have the right damn costumes, and the stories are really fun. And again, they're short stories, which I like. And they're called Justice League Action. I think that show is underrated. It's not as good as the old Justice League or Justice League Unlimited by Tim or whatever, but it's really good. Of course, you got Conroy, and they have a lot of good, fun stories. They're short ones. They're in and out quickly types of stories. But I really liked them a lot. I thought it was a lot of fun. If you ever get a chance to catch them, I got the DVDs of them. I liked it. Again, it was made for more simplistic type. It was actually Mark Hamill did an episode where he did the voice of Swamp Thing, the Trickster, and the Joker, and he played himself. So he played all 4 voices on an episode. So again, fun show, and I guess I'm the only one who's even seen it. Looks like so.
Well, I'm going to check it out now that you told me about it.
Yeah, you might like it. I don't know. He's I I maybe I'm the only one that's that happens to me sometimes. But he also did the voice of another hero, which was on Batman Brave and the Bold. So you can see there, he was the Super Batman of Planet X. I love this episode. It's based on an Golden Age comic book. Excuse me, where Batman goes to this planet with was it an orange sun or whatever it is, and it gives him Superman type powers. It's called Planet X, and he becomes the Super Batman of Planet X. And anyway, they adapted it in the non-powered Batman of Planet X. Was voiced by Kevin Conroy. So I thought it was pretty cool. And then he did another voice on Batman Brave and the Bold of the Phantom Stranger. Did you ever see the episode of Batman Brave and the Bold called Chill of the Night?
No, I did not.
Got to see that one. That has Mark Hamill doing the voice of the Spectre, and it has Kevin Conroy doing the voice of the Phantom Stranger. So, and Adam West doing the voice of Thomas Wayne, and Julie Newmar doing the voice of Martha Wayne.
Oh, dude.
Julie Newmar voice of Martha Wayne. So,
God.
Let's see.
That sounds so great.
Michael Beacon says one of the things that hurts the worst about this is that I had hopes that they would go do a good adaptation of Kingdom Come. When I reread it, I always hear Conroy's voice. Oh yeah, better than the guy who did his voice on that voice act thingy they did on that audio book that they did. Why did Clobby say that name? Why did you say that name? Oh, but
I heard what's his name did a good approximation with that when they went into when they broke into her house to attack her husband. The guy was like, "Where's Nancy?" I was like, "Oh wow, Batman."
Why'd you say that name?
Why'd you say that name? Where's Nancy?
Oh boy. I hope the algorithm doesn't pick that up. Wow.
We're talking about Batman.
Batman. Yeah. Yes. Batman. Algorithm doesn't like us. So who cares? Yeah. What a show, though. Again, but where it started all, folks, of course, is Batman the Animated Series. Do you have any favorite episodes of the show? Because I mean, this is the bread and butter here. This is where we all got to know Kevin Conroy's voice. Any episodes for you? I mean, because one day I'm just going to do a list. I did my top 25 Batman Brave and the Bold. I'm going to do my top 25 Batman Animated Series. In fact, very soon, probably, because, just a tribute. What are some of your favorite episodes off the top of your head? If you know them, you don't have to name titles or anything like that. If you know.
So the first one is going to be where Harley, and I think it's like a fish or something like that was the name of it. And that's the episode where Harley's trying to get Puddin's attention, and she comes out and she's like, "You want to rev your Harley? Brum brum," and she can't get his attention, so she decides, you know what? I'm gonna get Batman.
It's called Mad Love.
Mad Love. Okay, so it's Mad Love. Mad Love, and that whole thing with him using Harley to spurn Joker and get Joker pissed. I absolutely love that episode.
Yeah.
The other one would be damn. I was just thinking about it. It's the episode where Harley and Ivy capture him and take him to Arkham, and they try him. And it's
called The Trial.
The Trial.
The Trial's got one of my. You want an example of one of the greatest? I mean, his voice was always great, But there's one that stands out to me. A line in that episode, because that's one of my favorites. It's my top 5, right?
Yeah.
Batman, they'd already convicted him in the court of the Arkham Asylum, and he'd been brought in the straitjacket and chained to the, strapped down to the electric table thingy. They were about to fry him, all the villains, and the district attorney lady found the batarang that she'd had with her that she'd taken, and she threw it at the light and knocked it out. Right, so the light went off. Lights go off. And we all know, in very Batman fashion, he gets away. And they're going, oh, no, what? And they all start looking for him, and they know they got away, and it's dark. And they go, wait, watch the door, don't let him get away. And you hear this voice, and it's perfect. He goes, who says I'm leaving?
Yeah.
I mean, dude, all of his villains are in there, and he's still fearless. It was the most badass thing he's ever said on the show. Who says I'm leaving?
No, that goes right. Yeah,
it's so great.
That's right up there with, you're all locked in here with me. I'm not locked in here with you. You're all locked in here with me.
Of course. It's almost taken from that Rorschach line that you're quoting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yep. And it was brilliant. That was a great episode too. God, I love that.
So yeah, I'd say right off the top of my head, I'm sure there's more. I just watched all of those with Eris because Eris hadn't seen them all, and of course I've got like the Uber Blu-ray pack of those, the Amazon only one that came with the mini. They got like the mini pops, the keychain pops. So there's 4 keychain pops.
Nick showed that the other night. I have the cheap version for the Blu-ray.
I've got that too. I got both of them. But I love them, man. I love them. I love watching them. So I'm sure there's more that I'm just not thinking of right now.
Well,
but
I love
off
the
the top
Ghost.
of my head, those are 2. Gray Ghost, yeah.
The Gray Ghost is probably in my top 5 as well as the Trial. I love Almost Got Him. Almost Got Him. I vacillate between that and the Gray Ghost as my number 1. I'm sure you're familiar with the episode where all the villains are sitting around talking about how they almost killed Batman.
Yes.
Telling stories. And then the last one, of course, it's what's it? Joker tells his, and he's got it, and how he had him at the it was like the David Letterman show type thing or whatever. And Catwoman saved his life. But then they were he had Catwoman, about to be killed by Harley or whatever. And so the whole time Batman was sitting there dressed up, disguised as Killer Croc. That was great. Oh, that was Almost Got Him's a classic, dude. But there's so many other ones too. You know what one I love was The Man Who Killed Batman. Do you remember that one?
Yes, because this guy thinks yes, the squid, and he thinks he killed him.
Oh, it's got this great scene.
And Joker's like, no.
But Joker goes to rob a jewelry store, and then when Batman's not showing him, he's like he gets disappointed, and he just tells everybody a minute to put everything back. He's not coming. He's really dead. He's really dead because he wants to put everything back. He wants to kill Sidney. Oh, it's the best. It's so good. Oh my God. Also, someone mentioned the other night that again, one I always love, Joker's Favor. Not surprisingly, Joker has some of the best episodes. When Joker, like some road rage episode where the guy voiced by Ed Begley Jr. tries to gets pissed off at the Joker almost running him off the road and yells at him or whatever.
Yep.
And then he comes back.
Joker goes after his family.
Yep. Well, first Joker just takes his driver's license, says, I'm gonna need a favor from you one day. And then so the guy leaves for like 2 years. He's hiding in terror of the Joker. And then 2 years later, Joker just has to be flipping through some stuff, and I haven't seen this in a while. I better look this guy up. So he goes after him after 2 years. My old pal Charlie Collins. That's man, dude. The Joker is. That's why he's such a great villain. And this show used him better than anybody else did. This show, in my opinion, used Batman better than any other, and I'm including the comics, because comics used to get a little bogged down, not only into the 80s and the aughts did it do that, though. It bogged down on these long epics. In my opinion, folks, Batman loans himself best to short stories. These one-off 22-minute little novellas that we see acted out in animation. Movies not so much, unless of course it's a great movie like Batman: Mask of the Phantasm. But
yeah,
I like the short stories. Episodes like what's another one? So many of them, man. Jeez. The one where did you see that when they finally got around to having Bane? They did the Bane episode, and man, why I can't now I'm having a blank on titles. And I remember I called a friend of mine right at the end of that Bane because see this was after Nightfall had come out. I hated Nightfall. I know a lot of you are younger than me, and you thought that was such a great thing. To me, nobody breaks Batman's back. Screw that crap. And I don't buy into Batman breaking Nightfall's. What's his face? Excuse me. What's his face? Bane breaking Batman's back. I hate it. Hate it. So here we got the animated series. Bane finally shows up, and inside of one episode, in fact, they had a scene where he almost breaks Batman's back, and then he cuts, the Venom cord, and then beats the crap out of him, and then takes him to Rupert Thorne and throws him. As this the best you could throw at me, Rupert? And I was like, yes. And I called a friend of mine on the phone. I never forget that. I called him and I yelled just loud, kicked his ass. Kicked Bane's ass as Batman should. Michael Beacom says, one of my favorite Batman-related quotes, Arkham Asylum. Two-Face says, take off Batman's cowl to see his real face, and Joker points and says, that is his real face. Yeah, exactly. Superman the animated series crossover with the Joker offers to kill Superman that was the world's finest one.
Yeah.
That was we reviewed that one.
We did indeed.
That was cool. Again, I think we both agreed that we would like to be a longer story because it was kind of 3 parts. Doesn't do it justice, but it was still cool.
No, it doesn't.
It was still cool though.
It would have been cool if they would have added some more when they did the movie release for that. I would have really liked that.
Yes. Interestingly enough, one of the best stories done was not on Batman, but it was on Superman, and Conroy wasn't in it much, but it was remember when it's called Nighttime when Batman was missing and Superman went to fill in for Batman?
Yep.
Thinking it would be a breeze.
Oh no.
It was,
if I can do this in Metropolis, as Superman, of course.
Yes.
Be able to do this in Gotham as Batman. No, it's a little different, buddy.
It's very different, buddy. Double C. Hey there, buddy. Good to see you. And welcome, Grifter, as well. Good to see you both. Yeah, man. He will be missed. He will be sorely missed. That voice. I Am the Night, Zatanna, and Feet of Clay were other favorites from Oliver Belamonte. Yes. I Am the Night was a great one. I believe that was the one. That was one where he started to question himself pretty good because I think Commissioner Gordon got shot or something. Mad Love, like you said, Mad Love was based on a comic that was done before the episode.
Yeah. So Harley originally shows up in the animated series first. Yes, there was a Harley Quinn, but it wasn't our Joker's Harley favorite. Quinn. So Harley shows up in Batman the animated series first. And then they do a comic of her and Joker called Mad Love, and then they base an episode of this off of.
They adapted it later. Love. Yeah, that's right.
So, and it's Mad more like great, we're gonna go back in time and see stuff that happened, before. So it was really cool. I really liked it. It's one of my favorite episodes. But I love how she sets up Batman and gets him all ready, and then he's like, "No, hell no, I didn't do it." So it doesn't count.
Yeah. Oh,
how dare you? How dare you capture him?
It's so good. Stephen Kal-El, I agree with this. He says, I saw a video tribute today in which the YouTuber said that Kevin Conroy was to Batman as a voice actor what Christopher Reeve was to Superman, and I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more myself. I absolutely 100% agree with that. Absolutely. As
Agreed.
well. Thank you for that, Cal, because that is nicely said. And that is a very, very good way to put it. If you're trying to put into perspective to people who may not be animation fans, but have seen, Christopher Reeve and stuff. Yeah, absolutely. He is that, because remember, let's think about this for a second, dude. We routinely say that's the one true Batman. We say it with pride as fans. And the guy never put on the costume. I'm not talking about that Crisis crap where they had him play an evil Bruce Wayne. I didn't watch that, never will, but some people have seen it. I won't watch that. But as far as we're talking about a guy that just based on voice acting gets called the real Batman all the time. Imagine that. He didn't even have to put on the costume. And he gets called the real Batman by so many people. What does that tell you? If you think about that, it's absolutely mind-blowing.
No, it is. It is absolutely mind-blowing. This is the Batman. Well, Clobby, you talked about how your favorite movie was Mask of the Phantasm.
Yes, sir. My favorite.
So, I mean, it's an animated movie, and it's Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill.
It's brilliant. It's easily, hands down, the best Batman's ever going to be on the big screen. As far as the real deal the serious Batman, Dark Knight Detective Batman, it will never come close. Never. I first saw this show about a week or two before it aired. I think a week actually or so before it aired. It debuted for the first time. I was at Dragon Con in 1992, I think it was. Might have been 93, 92, whatever, a week before this came out, right? And they were showing, the DC table was showing the episode On Leather Wings. I think Christmas with the Joker was the first one produced. And they showed On Leather Wings, I think, got like a primetime slot at one point, an episode. But I know that the first one they showed on a Saturday morning and later in the daytime, I think maybe in The Cat and the Claw, which was a two-parter, which was great. So the first one I was able to record, I think, was The Cat and the Claw, because they started showing them out of order a little bit. And Ironhide remembers there, says that I can't tell you how many times I've seen Cat and the Claw Part 1, because when I was a real little kid, the family friend would put that episode to keep us little ones quiet. It was great. All right, Michael Beacom, take it easy, buddy. Thanks for being here. Be seeing you.
Thank you for being here, brother.
Always good to see you there, buddy. Yep, that was from the comic, but there's another thing. They adapted that Mad Love, beautifully from the comic. But what's funny is how Kevin Conroy put it over the top with that one line when she almost had me, my blood rushing to my head, my circulation, I couldn't get away. I knew the only way to get out was to have her call you. I knew your ego would never allow anyone else use the privilege of killing me. Still, she got closer than you ever did. Puddin'.
And oh, did it piss him off?
Oh, God, it was so good.
Oh, shit. Because Joker looks at it like this mutual, he knows I'm going to rob a bank and he's going to have to try and stop me. And it's this mutual back and forth between the two. Well, Harley got in the middle of that. And Harley got further than you ever did, bastard. Puddin'.
Can you stop to imagine what Batman 89 would have been like if they casted the young Kevin Conroy as Batman? Would have worked for me. Would have worked. I mean, he was
built. This was a he was
tall and relatively thin fellow who could put on that costume and look good.
Yeah.
But he didn't have the name recognition. And Tim Burton's so weird. Let's look. I like that movie. Okay, Michael Keaton looks nothing like Bruce Wayne, nothing like Batman, but I still like the movie. It's fine. I remember it's all right. Nothing. It was good. But Tim Burton's a weirdo. That was still a weirdo casting. You can't. There's no way around it because we all for a year were going, Michael Keaton. Yes, he turned out to do a good job because he's a great actor. But still, I don't look at that guy and go Batman. Now maybe I don't look at Kevin Conroy, and say Batman as far as visually, but I think he looks more like a hero type than Keaton.
Yeah.
And so I probably would have, I would have, but he didn't have the name. So, and, what's his face wanted him. So I remember on Leather Wings being a primetime preview of Batman. Yes. Yes, it was, Sean. I remember being impressed with the animation, being even more excited for what was to come. Yes. And that was, of course, that was as many episodes. It's funny. Many episodes of Batman animated series were adapted from comics, comics that had already been made. And Mad Love was I think the only one that was the other way around. I mean, excuse me, not the other way around. That was adapt. Excuse me, I got it backwards. That was adapted from a comic that was done while the animated series was already, on this. And that the Bane has actually nothing to do with Nightfall. So the other ones, like I said, they adapted. They did a two-parter where they adapted the first appearance of Ra's al Ghul. They had Night of the Wolf, an old story from the 70s. They did that one. They did a bunch of them. But On Leather Wings was one of them, the old Man-Bat story. So, yeah. And, yeah, he's just... Still can't believe it, man. I still can't believe this happened. 66 years old. Kevin Conroy. He gave us so much. All those episodes of Batman the Animated Series. All those episodes of Batman Beyond. All those episodes of Justice League. I loved it. Again, remember the episode of Justice League when they were at New Genesis with the New Gods episode? And was it Superman got him into a trap? And he said,
yes.
Batman says to Wonder Woman, the next time I let Superman make a decision, would you hit me and just hit me or something? That voice. Or how about the episode of Justice League where he got captured by Luthor and he was putting the Justice Gang together, basically the Legion of Doom together, and they kept him chained up. And Joker kept telling him, "Don't trust him," because and listen, what he's saying, he can't do anything. And the whole time, Batman was manipulating everyone psychologically. He could have gotten away at any time. But and again, this is brilliant Kevin Conroy acting, and all of them, of course. But this one, when he's just messing with everybody's heads. Remember that episode?
Yes.
Oh God. I don't think if anybody else had done this, it would have been a good show, okay? Don't get me wrong. If someone who had been a competent voice actor had done the voice, I'm sure it would have been okay. I don't know. I'm not so sure this show would be as popular without Kevin Conroy. I'm going to go on a limb and say no.
It's something he talks about. He talked about it in interviews. He even talked about on that thing we got from Mike, where he goes 30 years. 30 years. He goes, I've gotten to do this role. 30. How many people can say they did a role for 30 years? Usually roles come and go. And yeah, there were some movies they didn't have him in, but 30 years as Batman. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane. Yeah. This is what Christopher Reeve would have done and continued to do had he not been in the accident he was in. I really believe that he would have kept coming back as Superman, whether it was in voice acting, whether it was whatever, they would have kept bringing him back. At least I hope Warner Brothers wouldn't be that stupid. But Absolutely. Then again, look at the last two movies they made for him. So whatever.
Absolutely. No, I hear you. Ironhide asks, Clobby, do you think that Justice Lord's Batman is the equivalent of Mirror Universe Spock? I think that's a fair comparison. That episode, I'm very, very back and forth or very schizophrenic on that episode. On the one hand, I really think it's a good story. On the other hand, I have a lot of problems with it because I'm not so sure that I buy into what this episode. I won't go into it here because we'll talk about something else, but I'll talk about that episode one night because I'm not so sure. It's a good story, and part of me just wants to enjoy it. I don't think the Justice League would ever go that way. I don't think they would ever turn into the Justice Lords. I don't buy into the premise. Again, it was interesting. It was well done. It's not that it's bad. I don't think I accept that the Justice League would go evil like that. I don't like it. Or go rogue and become fascist like that. I just don't buy it. It makes me queasy. Let's put it like that. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying I have problems with it. I know it's not like an Elseworlds because they were a normal Justice League that turned. I mean, yeah, in a sense, it's an Elseworlds if you want to go that way, but I don't know, man. I got issues with it. I'm not so sure I agree with what they did there. Sorry to go off on a tangent there. Nevertheless, yes, I think that is a good, a pretty good analogy there, aren't I? That yes, he's sort of like that. Except, look what they did on DS9. They said that the Mirror Spock destroyed that universe. So I hated that. I love DS9, but I hated that episode. Decepticon says, yeah, Conroy's Batman and Hamill's Joker also turned up on Static Shock. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's it, linking it. Yeah, that's true. They did. So, yeah. Oh, my goodness. He is just F cancer indeed, Boosh. F cancer indeed, my friend. Yeah, I'm with you there. Yeah, it's easier to believe an evil alternate in Justice League like the Crime Syndicate than the Justice League that went too far in the wrong direction. Yeah, I have a big problem with that. Even though I admit to enjoying the episode, I'm like, I gotta stretch too much for it. If you see what I'm saying, I'm not willing to believe that unless something outside influenced them into doing it. I have my issues with that. You know?
Yeah.
That's just me, though, I guess. But what a great character the old Bruce is on that show. Again, it's something I didn't think I was going to like, and it was pretty good. But man, just a sad day.
And we're not going to get another one like him. Not in our lifetime.
No, it'll never happen. And it's definitely unique that a voice actor can be so identified with a cartoon that they almost go in lockstep. How many people do you ever hear say, "I love Batman animated series"? That not too far into it, you're gonna hear Kevin Conroy's name come up in that conversation. Not just how good the show was, man. It had the best voice of the Bat ever. I mean, my God, he's the best. I've never heard anyone. And look, it's the universe, folks. I'm sure there's someone out there that didn't care for his voice. I've heard weirder things, but I've never heard it. And not only that, like I said, I've never heard anyone who has enthusiasm for that show that doesn't talk about how great he was as that voice. And I'm not trying to overstate it here. I'm simply saying that his name is synonymous with the show and with the character beyond just that show. I don't know, no pun there, Batman Beyond. If somebody has counted up how many times he's voiced it, I haven't done it, but it would be a lot. If you count those shows and those video games and those movies. And yes, some of the movies weren't that good, but it was not his fault. He did the voice in The Killing Joke. We can't hold that against him. Epilogue. Oh yeah, I like the epilogue from Batman Beyond. That episode showed Bruce was not only a great detective, but was also a deeply compassionate person. He didn't let Ace die alone. Well, it was an epilogue for Batman Beyond, but it was on Justice League, buddy. Yeah. So, yeah. Great stuff, man. Great stuff. Oh, my goodness. So, anything else you have to say about, just Kevin Conroy? Any basic general thoughts about him?
You're not going to get many people that love the fans that were as love as this guy was. Never heard anything negative. You never heard him, I worked with him and he did this. Never heard anybody going after him.
Right.
Maybe some people feel he was protected because his lifestyle choices. I don't really care.
I never even knew about him until someone mentioned him the other day.
Yeah, I didn't even until it was probably beginning of this year. Someone made a deal about it, and I was like, I really don't give a shit. It's like Gandalf. It's like, who really gives a shit about.
I was not aware of it till last night. Someone mentioned
Ian
it.
McDermott. Who cares that Ian's gay? No one cares
Ian,
that a gay guy played Gandalf.
McKellen,
no one cares that a gay Ian McKellen. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
No one cares that Kevin was. No one gives a shit. He was Batman. He was a badass Batman. Why people need to bring that into it? I have no idea. But
I've never
heard anything negative. Ever negative. You never heard anything negative about this guy. And he loved the fans. And it's really sad that we don't have more of this. We don't have more people like him that love the fans as much as he loves. He loved the fans.
Absolutely.
Cancer sucks.
He was such a nice guy. I mean,
Again, it has taken someone wonderful from us.
He touched so many people. Who grew up. I mean, it must in a way have probably given him a good feeling too, having all these people he'd run into and say, I think it touched his humanity when they would say, "Man, you meant so much to my childhood," which he got all the time. And
getting to pass that on, Clobby, I want to tell you something. My kid just finished reading the Dark Knight Returns, the Frank Miller book, the original Frank Miller book. And the only reason why she said she wanted that was because we used to watch the animated series together, and we used to watch Batman Beyond. And she said that made me love Batman. And when she asked me for that book, I said, okay, I'll get you that book. And I got it for her, and she read it, and she loved it. But it all started here. It all started right here with this guy. That's what got her to watch it. That's what got her to think Batman's cool. So for 2 generations now, for me, my dad loved this show. He didn't love it as much as I did, but he was willing to go see a cartoon movie. Getting him to go see like Transformers, the movie in '85, that was like pulling teeth. It was nuts. Getting him to go see this was easier because it's like, okay, it's the show. What do you mean it's the show, boy? It's the show on TV. It's the animated one. It's that one. And he goes, oh, all right. I guess we can go. Damn it. This better be worth it going to go see a cartoon. Getting him to, and so that's even more. That's 3 generations. So I had my dad who liked it enough that he actually went to see an animated movie in the theater. You had me who grew up loving it, and then I've got my kid that loves it just as much because I shared it with her. That's 3 generations of family that loves it because of Kevin and because of Mark and because of the style they did it. And I think if it had been done any other way, Clobby, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about this right now.
We'd think, oh, that was a pretty cool cartoon. But by the way, Retro Blasting, my great Retro Blasting friend is here. Good to see you there, buddy. I'm honored to have you here as always, my friend. Yeah, if without Kevin Conroy, it would be sort of like those Fox cartoons, the Marvel ones from the 90s that I just recently binge watched Spider-Man and the X-Men one and stuff. We all like them fine. They have issues with here there. People like them fine. Name me a voice of any of those characters.
Let's go.
The guy doing what's the guy's name? Who does the Wolverine voice?
Oh God!
There you go.
I'd have to
you
look
had to
it
think
up.
About it.
I would have to look it up.
He did a cool voice for Wolverine. I can't tell you his name. I can't remember the name of the kid who did Spider-Man. I think he did Daniel. In other words, you can look their name up, but you don't have to look up Kevin Conroy's name when you say that Batman show. Keely Chow, good to see you. You don't have to, look up that name. Brian Bloom. I know Brian Bloom did the voice of Captain America from the is it Brian Blum? Brian Bloom did him from Captain America and the Earth's Mightiest Heroes. But anyway, you don't have to look up Kevin Conroy.
Nope.
If someone said who did Superman's voice in the animated series, you and I would know it's Tim Daly. That might pop to us, but would anyone know George Newborn did it on Justice League? And can they really tell the difference between the two that much? They were fine. They did a good job. But this is different. This is not the same. And my good buddy from Retro Blasting, Michael French says, His voice was so good, the fans made sure he crossed into those Arkham games and other mediums. That rarely happens. Boy, it rarely. Kal-El said, when I met him, Kevin Conroy, in 2018 at Florida SuperCon, I remember telling Mr. Conroy that I, like many fans, thought of him as the definitive voice of both Batman and Bruce Wayne. He said he smiled, then raised his arms into the air and said, "Yes, success." And then he laughed. The man was truly a legend, and will be missed by all. Yes, he laughed. He was extraordinary. Keely Chow, roll tide, Keely. So yeah, this is not even close, dude. People would like a lot of cartoons that I can name you. You can name me probably 10 cartoons that you like, but that you would have to look up the guy who did the voices, the lead voice. Probably. Again, I'm not talking about any big animation buff or anything. I'm talking about most people. If they said, "Man, I really liked He-Man or Transformers or whatever," a kid who just grew up watching those cartoons and liking them would have to go look the voice up. They'd have to Google it. Most people who grew up loving Batman animated series know Kevin Conroy. He was the best of the best. And he'll be missed too, because like I said, he could have been doing this a little bit longer if he wanted. I mean, if he'd been with us, he could have, they were still using him. What do you think? I got my name from only Autobot on the ship. Okay, Ironhide. Yeah, there you go. Ironhide. I see. Yeah, man, I tell you what a bummer, folks. Sorry to bum everyone out tonight, but this is gonna sting forever. I mean, it just 66 years old, man.
It's a crime. I didn't think it was real. When I saw the tweet Friday, I'd done the show, and it was maybe an hour later that I saw the tweet, and I said, "No, there's no fucking way, it's bullshit." And I started digging in, and yeah, and I pretty much shut myself off Friday. I didn't want to be around anybody. I didn't want to talk to anybody. It sucked. This really sucked.
When I first heard it, my first inclination was, please be one of these stupid, crap. Yeah, you see this sometimes. These I don't know, these hoaxes.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, that's a hoax. Somebody's jerking around. I mean, that's not funny. Damn it, come on, man. But alas, alas,
we got to know him. Alas, we knew him. He darkened our doorstep 1,000 times as Batman.
We'll continue to do it forever.
And we'll continue to do it forever. Who is up for going back and watching the series again and watching the movies? I am. Yeah. And you know what, dude? Me and you have been talking about what we do after we watch these movies. Honestly, I think 2 or 3 episodes of the animated series, I would love to do that with you. I mean, I don't know if you want to do that.
Yeah.
We don't have to do that, but
no, we can do that after we get rid of the movies.
Yeah.
After we exhaust our supply of movies, which is diminishing with rapidity.
We've got shit left. We've got shitty movies left. We've got
maybe 2 or 3 worth reviewing left, and the rest is that trash that started from 2012 or whatever, turning into
52 shit.
Screw 52 trash, which I'm not interested in. I mean, sure, I could beat up on it for 2 hours, but I won't really enjoy it.
Exactly.
And that means having to go back and watch them. So no. But yes, maybe we should do something like that. Finally, just review the episode a little at a time. It doesn't have to be every night or every week or anything like that. That would still be, for example, instead of reviewing like we do one DC animated, a film at once a month, we could just do like 4 episodes of if you want to start like in January, maybe. And I would
love to do that.
We do 4 each month. The Loki, Clobberin animation team up could be that. We can, I think that's a good thing. In tribute to the great Kevin Conroy, we'll start making that we'll review what four episodes a month.
Yeah,
plenty of lasts for a long time and
lasts for a long time.
In order. Let's do that, man.
I'm down.
We'll pick an order. We'll do it, I guess, in air date order or something like that. We'll figure it out. But that's a good idea. Let's do. I mean, now that's and that'll give us time to do a couple more of the
movies.
Of the dumb movies.
Finish up the movies
because I think
I really want to do that multiple choice. That multiple choice death in the family.
Okay, no, I'm game, man.
So I'm really looking forward to that.
There's still Justice League Crisis on Two Worlds that we need to do. There's wow, but I can't think of much else other than that one. I think we've done everything that's even worth review, because I think that was all right. I don't know if you remember that one. I like that one.
Yeah.
Even though it has Billy Baldwin Batman's voice, that could have really used Kevin Conroy for that movie. Big time could have used Kevin Conroy for that one. But what are you gonna do? So, yeah, it'll be good to review it finally. I think so. I've been wanting to do it. I've been planning to do it for years, actually. So reviewing it, and I got a pretty good deal on thanks to the enabler Mark D with a C. I got a pretty good deal on the normal Blu-ray set that come all those bells and whistles your has, but it was still for like $25. The whole complete series. It was nice to have on Blu-ray. And speaking of which, we have the great Mark D with a C with us.
Hey, did you say enabling?
What is up, brother?
Enabling, yeah.
Good to talk to you guys on. Well, it's a somber occasion, and Loki, you had a fantastic show this morning. It was a great tribute to Kevin Conroy. Yep. So it was
yes,
good to hear that as well. There's been a lot of good stuff on YouTube lately, and yeah, he was Batman for a lot of people, like you guys have been saying. And the amazing thing was, watching him in some of those interviews when he would switch that Batman voice on and off, you just didn't recognize him, right? And you kind of you picture Batman, all of a sudden. But he was so talented at changing his voice and doing, it's a totally different voice than his normal voice, which is why he was so skilled and so loved by everyone. And
he had that growl. It is hard to trust me. It is hard to just go from, hey guys, what's going on, to I am vengeance. I am the night. You that takes practice and dedication. And I mean, it's just not something you could just bam, bam, bam out of nowhere.
Yeah, look at Christian Bale. I mean, his voice as Batman was horrible and took away from the character. Unfortunately, and obviously he's not a voice actor, but that just shows you how difficult that is to do, and what a skill. And I'm glad that he got the recognition. A lot of that, I think, is because of the internet and shows like this. And thankfully, back in the day, as you guys were saying, you really knew who Mel Blanc was, and maybe a few other people, or Jim Cummings as Winnie the Pooh, or Sterling Holloway, or a couple, but you have to be a real fan, I think, of those shows with those characters to know that. And now at least a lot of these voice actors are getting credit and recognition, and you know who they are, at least. So
it's funny.
Deserved.
It's funny you bring that up, because Clobby does that. Clobby does the show with Raquel about Star Trek. The guy, I remember hearing this when I was a kid, and I remember going, oh, the bad guy's Piglet.
Yeah.
in the episode where they have the Jack the Ripper Phantom.
Yep.
The guy, that's the guy who did Piglet in Winnie the Pooh.
That's right.
And you hear that and you're like, holy shit. And me as a little kid, I'm like, oh, it's Piglet. Piglet's a murderer.
Piglet would never kill anyone. Yeah.
You hear that though.
Mike Road did a lot of voices. He was Race Bannon, wasn't he Space Ghost? Or was it no, that was Gary Owens was Space Ghost. Space Ghost. Yeah, but still not Conroy.
Yeah. No, there's not many people that you could name. I think that a lot of people know. I think even my wife knew. I mentioned it. She's like, "Oh, the guy that did Batman," and she doesn't know anything about comics or as much as I tried. Yeah, but I mentioned, she's like, yeah, well, because the show was on TV too here, prime time for a while. So you know, made that animated series made a huge splash. So, but it's a real shame. And F cancer. Won't swear, but yeah, lost way too many. You know, everyone out there, I'm sure, has lost someone due to that disease, and so someday, hopefully, I mean, it's getting better, but hopefully someday they'll find a cure for that too, because he was way too damn young. As I get older, 66 used to sound old, but not anymore. So way too young, and he had a lot to give, and he was a fantastic guy too. I mean, those stories you were telling, Loki, and all the stuff you've been reading. You know, there's people that are real a-holes, and I always joke with my dad about, you know, you go to a funeral and then the guy gives a eulogy, and you know with friends and things too, but like, gee, I didn't know George was such a saint. You know, we were drinking buddies. He wasn't, you know, it's just, you know, but all these stories, and you can tell like all the time he spent talking to you, Loki, and how good he was with the fans. So I always say I've got a friend who's an acquaintance who works in the business in Hollywood, and I was asking her about a certain actress, or I won't say the name, but said, "Is that person really that bad? You know, is it just bad press?" Like, no, you could tell by how the person treated their assistants when they came to be interviewed, and treated, you know, the people that worked for him like dirt, and was a prima donna and nasty and really vicious, and you can tell. She's like, you can tell when the the really cool people, the nice people, you know, they treat everyone, and they don't expect anything. They treat everyone well, even though, you know, they're quote unquote a famous Hollywood, you know, actor or star. So, and it's always what people are doing when other people aren't looking, right? Look, that Kevin Conroy didn't have to spend 10 minutes talking to you, or, you know, hanging out with you, and you know,
Talking
you're already a lifelong
Mike.
fan.
Getting to know Mike.
Yep.
Yeah. Getting to know Mike. And that's when, man, I don't know what I expected when I got that, but I know I didn't expect that. Even after talking to him, it was like he knew Mike, and he knew Mike through me. And that's why he spent 10 minutes talking to me, was to get to know Mike through me.
And to get it right? Yeah, to do a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, because most people, I would think, they'd say, "I'm Batman. I'm like you said before. I'm vengeance. I'm the knight. Happy birthday, Mike. See you later. Where's my money?" And that's not. I can't fault someone for doing that either, you know. But wow, to spend all that time and talk to you like that, that's
hey,
that's
Linrod,
fantastic.
Where could people find that, to see that? Because it's still up somewhere, isn't it? I think people should see that. If I had it, I'd play it. I don't have it, but people should see that. The message to Mike. I saw it. Nick played it the other night.
Yeah, I've got it. Give me just a second.
Which is, if you don't mind showing it to everybody.
No, I don't mind. I don't mind. In fact, this is going to Mike tonight. I gotta rip it off here. And
what's that?
The video, because he wants to put it up on his YouTube channel. I was like, yeah.
Nick showed it the other night. I thought it was
still on your. Yeah, it's on your channel still, right?
Yeah, it's still on the channel. Oh my God, that was loud. I forgot. Always forget I've got the dang Happy Birthday Mexican Iron Man music playing at the beginning.
I didn't hear it.
Well, it was in my headset. That's why.
Okay. But
here, let me throw it in chat. There you go.
Okay. If you want to share it and play it here, you can.
Okay. All right.
If you want to share, you want to try that?
Yeah, I can do that.
Or I could figure it out probably, unless you want to.
There you go. Oh, here you go.
Okay. All right, everybody. You want to set up and tell everybody what this is?
Okay, so I spent about, I don't know, I wanted to do something special for Mike for his birthday.
That's Mexican Iron Man, everybody.
Mexican Iron Man. And I know how much, you would think, oh, Tony Stark. Well, his real favorite superhero of all time is Batman. And his favorite Batman was Kevin Conroy. So I reached out, and a lot of people are like, oh my God, you did a cameo. It's not a cameo. We just donated to his charity. So we did a donation to his charity. We reached out to his handler, and we did a donation, and he did a recording after talking to me. So
nice
sound.
And this is Mexican Iron Man. for his birthday.
This is from Mexican Iron Man for his birthday.
All right, everybody. Kevin Conroy, ladies and gentlemen. Go for it.
Happy birthday, Mike. This is Batman calling you from Wayne Manor. Loki and all of Valhalla wanted me to send you this message to celebrate your birthday. So this is just for you. I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman.
Okay, now this is Kevin. Happy birthday, Mike. All of Valhalla is celebrating your birthday. How awesome is that? And the reason they're celebrating you is because you are the hardest working person that they know. And even when so overwhelmed, you always manage to find the time to help so many people in your life. You live the Batman ethic. You should be so proud of yourself. Not just because of what you do, but because of who you are. It's in your DNA to be that kind of a giving man. And I think it's great that the people around you appreciate that and celebrate you for it. You know, the fun thing about doing this role, which I've been doing for 30 years, which is pretty crazy for an acting job. But, you know, Batman, the animated series became Batman and Robin, and then that became Batman Beyond, and then the Justice League, and then all the Arkham games. I mean, it just kept growing and growing. All the direct-to-video movies. It just snowballed because the artwork was so beautiful. The stories were so complicated. The characters were so great. They had such a big, talented casts. Huge symphony score. I mean, the amount of money they spent on these shows was amazing. And it shows, and it paid off. And it's still hot, you know? It's still acquiring new fans today. The audience is still growing 30 years later, which is pretty amazing. But aside from playing the character and all these wonderful actors I've gotten to work with, what's really been interesting about this experience for me has been the audience interaction, this conversation that I get to have. Because the Batman fans, I've discovered, are passionate about the character. I mean, it's an amazing connection people have with Batman. It's like a personal connection. There's a sense of intimacy there that just doesn't exist for the other superheroes. It's not like that for Superman or Wonder Woman or The Flash. There's a personal connection that people have with Batman. And I think it's because of all the superheroes, he's the only one who's actually not a superhero. There's nothing supernatural about him. He can't fly, he can't see through walls. He's a man, he's a human being. He's like you and me. He's more like a detective. Some people call him the great detective. But not only is he human, he's a very flawed human. And he knows he's flawed. He's been beat up by life. But Mike, we're all flawed, aren't we? And we all get beat up by life. So it makes Batman that much more relatable because he's so much like us in a way. What distinguishes him is that no matter what life throws at him, no matter what crisis or challenge or failure, he never lets it defeat him. He never lets it make him angry or bitter or crush him. He takes the pain that life throws at him and he turns it around and he gives it back to the world as love. Because his whole mission is to leave the world better than he found it. And it's the nobility of that mission. That's what we admire so much about him. But that's something we can all aspire to, because you don't have to have superpowers to want to give to your family, your community, to leave the world a better place. All you have to do is care enough to try, care enough to want to, especially today with all the craziness going on around us. Because Mike, everybody faces challenges in their life. Everybody faces crisis and disappointment and failure at something at some time or another, because we're human and we all stumble. But that's not what defines us. What defines us is how we get back up and how we learn from our mistakes and get back into life and contribute to the world. That's what defines you. But I tell you, when you face those challenges, those crises that life throws at you, you realize really quickly what's important. And it isn't the material stuff. That stuff can disappear in a heartbeat. It's the people in your life. It's the lives you touch and the people who touch your life. It's the love that you put out into the world. It's a friend like Loki who sees who you are and wants to celebrate you. That's what matters at the end of the day. So never stop believing in yourself, Mike, in your ability to affect the world in a positive way. And let me join all of Valhalla in saying, Happy birthday, Mike. Remember, it's not what you are underneath. It's what you do that defines you. Take care.
Wow, that gives me chills, man. That man, to do something like that, to go above and beyond the call, that was beautiful. What a hell of a message. Hello, Andy Masterson. And hello, Jill. Good to see you, my friends. Thanks for joining us. That's, especially given that we just lost that man, that kills me. That is just beautiful. Loki, that must have, when you got that message from him, it must have been, and I know it had to blow Mike away. I mean, it's just, he didn't have to do all that. He could have just be nice. And that was all coming from the heart. What an extraordinary person. He gave us so much. And because at that time, like you said, he had to know what was going on.
Yeah.
Well, listening to it now and knowing that, no one knew that he was sick. I don't think. I mean, that was kept it private. So yeah, but I'm listening to him and his voice now, and knowing that he's battling cancer at that point, and he's talking about what's important in life, right? Not all the material crap.
That's right.
It's your friends and that you've grown up with, and your buddies, and that's what's important. Like I remember one of my friends are moving from his parents' house. He's all upset. I'm like, hey, we had all these good memories here together because we're buddies. We watched heavy metal all the time and all these old movies and Doctor Who, but it wasn't the house. It's like it was us hanging out and having fun. That was we're friends because not because of the house. I'm like, yeah, we're not gonna be able to hang out there anymore, but we'll hang out in a new place, and make that your new place. I mean, it is sad, leaving, but that's what's this material stuff. Of course, I'm surrounded by action figures and toys and crap, but it's really not important in the end. It's
right.
It's what and I think some of the toys and stuff, it's memories of being a kid, and it's your memory, but in the end, it's like it's your buddies and what you do. And it's not where you are on the outside, as he says. It's just so beautiful listening to what he said. I wish millions of people could hear and see that video, because it's so well said, and what a truly great person. Of course, I never met him, but he sounds like such a fantastic person. So it's such a loss when you lose a really nice guy like that. And he gave back, and he did all that for charity, and it's just such a great message. I'm gonna have my kids all listen to that. I'm gonna make them all watch that when we get together for Thanksgiving. And I'm gonna sit everyone down and make them, if they won't watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles with me, they have to watch, because they always complain every year when I watch that. I'm like, you're gonna watch this video because it's so beautiful what he says there.
Carlos Megas, hello there. I don't believe we had the pleasure, but welcome. It's good to see you, man. Oh, Loki, I can't thank you enough for playing that. That is just, I mean, especially,
thank you.
Even if that's one that when we heard it back before, we were all just blown away by it, and it has such an even more bittersweet meaning now. But it's beautiful, and especially given what that man had to know at the time when he was making that message, that it shows what a caring person. He still cares about people enough to do something like that. Like you said, that that donation goes to a charity. He was doing that to help people. Just Kevin Conroy, folks, was the real deal.
The funny thing about all of that was Mike, after I played that, because Mike had no idea. I said, this is going to be better than
a surprise, right?
Yeah, this was a surprise. I said, what we're doing for your birthday, what Valhalla's going to do for your birthday is going to be better than any trashy girl you've ever taken home. And he's like, that's a tall order, Loki. Right?
We all do.
And
like
I'm like, okay,
girls.
well, I've got a plan. Right. And the funny thing about all of that was, I'm sitting there, I'm talking to him, and I'm telling him what Mike's been going through. over the last couple of years, and how giving he is, and how much he is there for members of the community, and how much he supports this community.
Yeah.
And afterwards, I was like, I got it's funny, I got the better part of that deal. You would think that I didn't. And Mike got this great opportunity to get this video from Kevin. I actually got to talk to him.
That's amazing.
And Mike knew at the end of it. And he goes, how did he know? It's like he was talking to me. I said, because I talked to him before he did the video and I told him about you. And I told Mike, I said, I feel like I kind of got the better part of the deal because I actually got to spend almost 10 minutes on the phone with Kevin Conroy talking to him. You got a 6-minute video. I actually got to speak to the guy and tell him about my friend and how cool my friend is. So it was one of those once in a lifetime things, and I'm just glad
amazing too.
I really am.
That is wonderful of you to do that. Your Old Toys, hello there, and Rock City Adventures is new. I've never seen you before. Welcome, thank you. Good to see you here.
Welcome. Yep.
Like I said, it was great getting to meet him the time I got to meet him, and I can't even imagine because and I was sort of like in and out of there. I talked to him for a few minutes. He'd sit there and talk to you forever, but you don't want to monopolize his time. To get there and have that conversation with him that you did, and to tell him about our wonderful friend Mexican Iron Man Mike, who is a wonderful person who does things for people. It is, I think Kevin obviously must have been impressed with what you were telling him about him to put that heartfelt message out there. That's amazing. Hey, Poppy Delta Yankee, good to see you, buddy. And that's terrific that you did that, man. I just love it. That terrific. Any of you, if you're just getting here and you haven't seen it, roll back to a little bit and you can see the tribute message that Loki had the great Kevin Conroy record for our good friend Mexican Iron Man for his birthday this past, was it March?
Yeah, it was in March.
In March. Beautiful stuff, man. Absolutely beautiful stuff. Oh, my goodness. And
you must have been so surprised, Loki, they kept talking. I'd be super nervous. And B, I'd be like, wow. And then B, I'd be like, wow, he keeps talking, you probably were totally shocked. I'm sure in the beginning. You probably thought you'd be on for 30 seconds with them, I'm guessing.
How do you say this name? How do you say this name? All right, thanks. And I just figured it would be like, oh, well, he just wants a little info. No. And I was like, the whole time I'm going, okay, be cool. Be cool. He's just another dude, and in my mind, I'm going, fuck no, he's not just another dude. He's Kevin damn Conroy. He's Batman. But calm down. It's cool. Don't freak out. Don't be like a fanboy. Don't geek out. Just be cool.
Do you want to hear my Batman voice, Kevin?
Yeah. I am as good as you. I am Batman. Yeah, people have been doing that to him forever, walking up to him saying, I am Batman.
Oh, God. Just be cool, Loki. Be cool. And,
that is for the ages right there. And I'm so glad you did that, man. And I'm honored that you let us play it here because I hope our audience appreciated that. And just extraordinary. Ironhide, have a good one. Thanks for being here, buddy.
Good night, Ironhide.
We'll start saying our goodbyes in a minute and everything. So anyone have just any last words? Loki, I appreciate you being here, bro.
Well, thank you.
I know you work late, but do you have any final words to say about the great Kevin Conroy? I mean, I know we've talked a lot about him here. I mean, it could go on forever. There's so many things he's done. We touched on some of our favorite moments from that show that we love so much, the animated series. So we talked a little bit, but just any closing words you may have about him, just whatever you want to say.
This is our generation's Batman, and he always will be. We're not going to get another one like him, not in our life.
Never.
So this is our generation's Batman. And he's a great guy, absolutely wonderful guy. I'm glad that I got to grow up watching him. I'm glad I got to get my dad to watch him, my kid to watch him. And it's been an honor getting to have him as our Batman, and he will be missed.
Absolutely, buddy. Absolutely, Mark.
Yeah, I echo those sentiments. Just the Batman animated show was just such a shock, and how good it was. When it first came on, and it became so popular, it made it to prime time, which is unusual. For an animated show, other than The Simpsons, I guess, is the one that everyone would think about. But yeah, just he was such a fantastic person now to learn all these things too. So it's one thing to be an actor and give us that great portrayal and do such a fantastic job. Then on top of that, he's a great guy with a great heart, and it's going to really miss. We're missing out on anything new, but we get to enjoy all the fantastic portrayals, and it's like Christopher Reeve passing too. It's just there's no one else when you hear that voice.
Yeah.
When you watch those cartoons, I think I'm going to watch some Batman animated tonight after this, maybe, because it's just and the stories are so good. It's just so fantastic. I mean, we're getting so much garbage these days, but as Kevin was mentioning, the artists, the orchestras, everyone who made that series, it's a timeless classic. And yeah, it's very sad that we lost him, but thankfully we did get to enjoy all his great work. And we did get to who knows in life, as he was saying, you never know what can happen. And he got that opportunity. He didn't become maybe the star that he wanted on stage and screen, but he'll live on forever as Batman.
I just want to say that I think the most important names that will ever be connected to Batman. One of them I can't pronounce. It's Bob. I can't remember his name. It's supposed to be with a K. Bill Finger, Adam West, Denny O'Neil, Neil Adams, and Kevin Conroy. There are others who've made contributions to Batman. There's no question about it. Bruce Timm and other guys like that have certainly done things this here and there. But amongst the very top of the pantheon of most important names to this character, to building this character's mystique in the pop culture, Kevin Conroy is right up there with all of those guys, all the guys who are most important to, Bill Finger is most important to setting this character on his way, on his path, creating all of his foundation. There are plenty of other fine artists that worked on the character. Adam West is most important for putting this character back into the spotlight into the 60s and igniting an entire generation again of excitement for comics and excitement for the character of Batman. Neil Adams and Denny O'Neil are most important for bringing Batman somewhat back to his Dark Knight roots in comics and putting him back on the proper track for him. As much as I love the Batman TV show, it did wonders, but then it needed to be picked up for those two guys. And the other voice, I'm not going to put Frank Miller up in there because Frank Miller did, bless him, did some damage. That was kind of almost irreparable, but until a guy named Kevin Conroy comes along. Kevin Conroy belongs up there with those names as the most important names to ever be connected to this character. And he is Batman to, as Loki says, to a couple of generations right now. And he has, and again, consider this, because Christopher Reeve is so important to Superman. And this guy is this important to Batman, and yet he never had to put on the costume. His voice was the costume. His voice, he did it with his voice, and that is extraordinary. And then, beyond even that, the way he's treated fans and the way he treats people and has conducted himself as a human being makes him as great a hero as this fictional character that we all love so much, because he was put out in the spotlight and he could have been anything, and he decided to be a wonderful human being. And it just makes me sad that he got cut down too early when he brought so much to so many of us. So Clobberin Times will forever love Kevin Conroy and be appreciative of what he did, and as we all are. Kevin Conroy, sir, you're in Valhalla with all the other heroes. And the one thing I'm going to disagree with you about, Mr. Conroy, is Batman is a superhero because he's super without powers. And I know I have this argument with my different eras in a joking manner.
He did.
But I'm calling Batman a superhero because you, sir, you are. Kevin Conroy, you are a superhero. You don't have to have superpowers to be your superhero. You are one to so many people. And this is coming from a stranger that you only met for 5 seconds once, so it can't mean that much to to your family who suffered a horrible loss, but you've made a mark on so many millions of people that we feel that loss too. So thank you, Kevin Conroy, from all of us, and Clobberin Times loves you, sir. That's all I can say.
Very well said, Mike. Yep.
Thank you.
Indeed.
From there, I almost feel dirty doing show notes and stuff like that, but it's kind of I have to. If you'll all bear with me, I probably should have done the show notes before this, but I think it was more important to focus on Mr. Conroy. But now I'm going to do the show notes, folks. I'm going to move along and handle business, and then we'll get out of here. Tomorrow night, I have a special Clobberin Times for you all. 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Our wonderful, beautiful first officer, R.M. Raquel Briggs, her book of science fiction short stories goes on sale tomorrow. And we will do a celebratory live stream to talk to her. We'll have her on. It'll just be a short stream, probably an hour or so or something like that. And we will celebrate that. Talk a little bit about it. Show where the book can be. I hope we get to see that art from it, for the cover from Hungry Boy. I hope we're going to get to see that.
Hungry Boy's here, right? So I think he's going to.
Hungry Boy, we're going to get to see that. Hey, Just Joe, good to see you, Jobber.
I think he will
Old
DM
friend.
us. Yep.
Yeah, just let us know. Either way, we're going to celebrate because we love Raquel. She's just been such a sweet, wonderful friend of mine for so long now, and doing shows with us, and we want to support her, and we're going to try to launch that book for her, do whatever we can on my modest channel to get that word out there. So I love you, Raquel. That'll be tomorrow night, Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then we're going to talk a little bit about on Wednesday night, Wildcard Wednesday night, the real Submariner. The one, again, a Marvel character that's been with us, well, before there was a Marvel.
Or Marvel, right? Yeah.
Before there was Marvel, but it was his, technically his first appearance wasn't a Marvel comic because it was called Marvel Comics #1. Anyway, not motion picture Funny's #1, everybody, because that was never actually just sold. But anyway, we're going to talk about this character that has been absolutely besmirched and belittled and disgraced by Hollywood. So we're going to show some love to the real deal Namor Submariner. And then, of course, we'll have the Clubhouse Thursday night, and then another Saturday night Star Trek on Saturday night with 4 more episodes of Deep Space Nine. And I want to thank everyone who joined us this past Saturday night. So, everyone, thank you so much for being here tonight. What a great crowd we've had, huh?
Yeah.
It's just amazing. Appreciate you all. You've been fantastic. I know this is a big one. This was a tough loss for all of us. There's nothing we can do other than but celebrate this man's career. And I know I'm going to be going back and watching some Batman animated series. Stay tuned in January. And yeah, this show is named after a friend we did know that, Mark Mark C, as always, this is Monday Night Mark C Comics Talk. So we have a lot of loss going on here, but we celebrate these people. In January, Loki and I will be celebrating this man by starting our review of Batman animated series, right? We'll review 4 episodes a month. How about that?
Heck yeah, brother.
We'll have a couple more animation reviews before that, though, of course, right?
Yes, we
will.
And
is there a comic book roundtable this week? Because I don't know if I'm going to be in town or not in time on Wednesday night, so I don't know. I'll talk to you about that later.
Okay, we'll talk about it. We'll decide. We'll talk about it and figure it out.
If so, I'll announce it tomorrow. But I don't know. I don't know if I'll be home in time Wednesday night. So anyone else, look out there. We'll do the shout outs tomorrow as well. Of course, I shouted everybody out as they came in, so that's good. It would take like an hour to shout everybody out now. So thank you all so much for being here with us tonight, folks. You were too kind. I'll play out with these messages and credits. Have a wonderful rest of your evening and hope your week gets a fantastic start. And we can't have much of anywhere close to a worse week than we had last week, can we? So have a great one, folks. Good night, everybody.
Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Roger. Ready to move out.
It's Clobberin time!
I just wanted to leave this on a silent note, everyone. Again, thank you, Kevin Conroy. And thank you, everyone. We're just going to close the show on this now. On the show that, and we'll see you back here tomorrow night. Good night, everybody.